Hello, everybody. Hello, Chloe. Hello, King Clown. Hello, Musical Rogue. Hello, Beatrix. Hello, King Clown, Your Majesty. I'm glad you are here. Please let me know if the audio is working. I am excited for today's stream. We're going to be making a tower. Towers are kind of hard, but they don't have to be. That's why you're here. Hello, Bigfoot. Aha, yes, awesome. I'm so excited about this stream. Hello, Jinx. Welcome. Awesome. Okay. So we're just going to wait one more minute and we'll let people filter in. We're going to be doing towers. Heck yeah. All right. Ooh, I love when the audio is superb. I love that. I just bought a new mic, so it's nice to have clear, crisp voice without crazy fan noises going on in the background, right? Okay, so again, today we are doing towers in Fantasy Battlemap style. So go ahead and check in the link in the description below to clone and edit this map so that you can follow along. That link is also in the chat at the top, posted by yours truly. So click that link, clone and edit, and we can follow along. Let's just do some real quick announcements. One, we're going to be probably in the next, couple months or so, we're going to be switching over to Twitch for live streaming. That doesn't mean we're abandoning our YouTube or anything. It's just that from now on, all live streams will be done on Twitch. And of course, we'll record that and then we'll send it over to YouTube. So we're just switching our stream platform. And I'll let you know an exact date later because I don't know the exact date yet. So for now, we're just proceeding with YouTube and we will be moving on. I also went ahead and posted a poll on our channel saying that we're going to be doing time lapses soon. So please go check out that post and pick out of the poll what your favorite map is that you want to see on a time lapse. Both myself and Philip and others will be doing time lapses, and I'm really excited to share those with you. Those seem to be very popular, and they're short and to the point, and I like that. Okay, without further ado, let's jump right into towers. So hopefully you've cloned that map. Again, in the description. And what you're going to notice right away is that I've already set it all up already. So if you look to the left top, you'll see there's a ground floor, and I've added in 4 more floors as well, the first, second, third, and top floor. And the ground floor, I've included some outside, just in case you wanted to add some kind of action. You'll see right here that there's a kind of a platform right here. And sometimes when you're making your tower, you want to have guards protecting the tower and you don't want people getting in. So this nice little platform area works for a nice simple battle with maybe 2 guards if you're doing it. And that way you can just defeat those guys and then go right into the ground floor level. Okay, and I should do a tutorial on how to make these kind of platforms because sometimes they can be kind of confusing. Let me explain a little bit about how I did some of these. So right away you'll notice that I have the same kind of floor right here. This floor is a group. There's also a clipping mask underneath that. Okay, there's an edge smooth. It's called a clipping mask. If I turn it off, then you won't be able to see the FG layer, whatever's on the FG layer. And that is the wood, okay? So whenever you have a clipping mask on and you're using it, it's going to pick up whatever's on the FG layer. That's pretty much anything made with the add mode of the mask tool, okay? And that thing works perfect because that way you can make it separate. Instead of just filling it with the add mode, just put a clipping mask inside of it. And no matter where you put it, you can just go ahead and just paint in the texture that you want. Now, another thing I wanted to mention was staircases, and staircases are really confusing for a lot of people, but they don't have to be. So for this first floor, one of the reasons why I went with a secondary tower on the side, an auxiliary tower, that's a stairwell, and that leaves room for your players to move around. If you include the staircase in the actual tower floor, that's inside this area right here, then you might not have the room that you want for your players to interact on that first floor, right? So putting a separate stairwell on the side allows for plenty of room for your tower. And your tower doesn't have to be circular, by the way. It can be any shape that you want. It can be a polygon of some kind, like a hexagon, a pentagon, a octagon. Doesn't really matter. But for this one, I just went circular because it's just the simplest one. And the spiral staircase works well with it, I think. Okay, so let's also talk about direction with staircases. This also can be extremely confusing for people. So when you're working with a staircase, especially like a spiral one, and you want to indicate that there's an up and a down, what I do is I like to use shadows. Now, this is a really easy floor, the ground floor, because there's only one direction you can go unless there's a basement or a crypt below, and that is up. Okay, and that's what you're doing here, is you're going up. And I even added a shadow from this stamp right here, and then I moved that object shadow to the left to make it look like it was higher up. And we're going to be using shadows, object shadows, on each floor to indicate which direction the staircase is going up. So I'll be doing that, okay? What I also did is that you just need to copy and paste. You need to make one floor and just copy and paste each floor to make it so instead of having to piece together each floor by hand, you'll already have it there for you. Just group it, rename it, and then just add the staircase, and you'll have to change the staircase on each floor. Obviously, on the ground floor, there's only one way up, and that's up, right? There's only one way to go, and that's up in the tower, okay? But once you get to the first floor, that's not the ground floor, the first floor, there's actually two ways to go, up and back down to the ground floor. So now how do you go about showing that in a staircase? And the way that I went about it, again, is just with shadows. So so this is coming up, or coming up from the ground floor, okay? So this right here is that first floor, and you can keep going up to the next floor, the second floor. You'll notice there's a shadow right here, and that's to represent that it's going down. Whenever your stairs are going down, put a little shadow at the bottom of the staircase to show like it's disappearing into the shadows of the floor below. That's always my suggestion. Okay, so let's just go back. I'm going to delete this, and we're going to go on to the next floor real quick and see that I've done the same thing and the same thing again. And then the top floor is different. You're no longer going up. You can only go down from the top floor. So again, I've added a shadow right here to represent that the stairs are going down. So I hope that helped to explain staircases. If you have more questions about staircases, feel free to ask Philip in the chat. He'll gladly help you, or you can ask me. I believe there's a couple other people as well. Musical Rogue, Beatrix, and Cheryl, or SL Mundi, all have great advice, so ask them if you need it. So let's go ahead and move to the ground floor. Again, you can see the exterior because it's the ground floor, and I did some shadow work here and put things together. Let's go into that first floor. Oopsie, it looks like I missed some texture here. My bad. Let's put something down on the platform below before you go into the tower. Let's say that there is a combat situation going right here. It's nice to create things that you can interact with. So maybe I want to put like a torch or something. Like if sometimes when you're doing combat or encounters, combat can be really boring. So I try to include things on the map that the players can interact with to make the combat more interesting. So if you're fighting a guard or something and you want to grab like a torch, or you can push them off the ledge or kick them down the stairs and then come down with a thrust, make an environment that your players can interact with, and therefore make the combat way more interesting. So always think about making your combat really interesting. So let's go into the catalog real quick. I'm going to add a light source because I think, just for fun, that if I add some kind of torch here, maybe you can grab that torch, and then maybe there's like a bundle of sticks you can kick them into, like the guard into, and then catch that on fire and therefore catch them on fire. So let's go use these little sticks right here, a bundle of sticks. I'm going to put it on the side right here, and maybe you push the guard onto here. Let's just have them stacking, and I'm going to make this first one a little bit darker, by the way, because that way it looks like it's a little bit farther below. I'll just drop the brightness. Okay, and then I'm going to add a torch somewhere. And I'm going to say that you can just grab this right off of from right here. And let's say that you combat kick the guard or guards onto that bundle of sticks and just throw that torch right on there and torch those guys. Because, hey, you can't let them get away with it, hey? All right, let's make sure it's on the right layer. And of course, I'll add a light source as well. I'm not going to worry too much about shadow work because I want to make this as quick as possible. We've got like 5 floors to go through, so we're going to move real quick. Just add one little light source right there. That works for me. So, and if you want, we can even just say that it's interacting with it. So I'll just go ahead and move these shadows up a little bit this way and a little bit to the right. There we go. Okay, so the shadows should be right. So now you can grab this torch. Is it too big? Maybe I have to make it a little bit smaller. Let me just check. I think that looks good. So players can just, let's flip it around this way. Can just grab this torch and torch these guys. Yeah, the shadow stuff really, really helps. Okay, so now we've added that. So now there's some kind of interaction in the environment. Your players have to defeat these guards, and then boom, they go into that first floor, and they've just had a combat situation. So maybe give them a rest, a break. So what I would do is on that first floor, maybe add in some clues to add in a story. You can put some chests, maybe a minor reward. I always like rewarding. You should try to reward your players for winning a combat or doing like a skill challenge or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some simple stuff. As always, if you don't know what to put in an empty room, crates, barrels are great filler. But don't forget to add things that also tell a story. So first, let's put in maybe the treasure chest. Let's put a chest in. And we'll put it in here somewhere. Let's put it up against the wall right here. Let me just make sure it's not massive. So let's just place it as against here. About that big looks fine to me. And then we're going to add some crates, barrels, stuff like that. And you can kind of decide what you want in the chest. Maybe there's a journal, a notebook. Maybe there's a special weapon or artifact you need to defeat the boss at the top. It's up to you. Be creative. Okay, let's add in some crates. And there's no combat here, so you don't have to worry about making a very diverse floor with a lot. You just need to put some basic stuff. I'm just going to put in some crates and then some barrels, and then I'll probably fix this little section right here. Let's put that crate. I'm going to rotate a little bit. Don't want it to be perfectly up. And then we could also consider throwing in some barrels. And then I think I might even put like a table or something with like a map on it or something like that. Something that your players can interact with. It's always important. Just put this on top. I think that looks good. And then, of course, I would add in a light source. I'm not sure how to go about that. Let's try adding in just a torch somewhere. We've already got a torch here. So let's put that in. Maybe put it right here. Or maybe right here should be good. Just right above that crate. I'm going to put this on layer 5. I like to put my light sources on layer 5. Just so that if you decide to put a filter on it, that way the light source will be above whatever filter. Just make sure that filter is set to layer 4 or below. So that way the filter isn't going to kind of diminish your light sources. So always put your light sources, at least I like to, on layer 5 and then filters below that. And you're going to have to organize your overall map. That's why I like to group things, group entire sections and then put them on a certain layer. So that way filters will affect certain stamps by just checking over here and looking at your layers on the right side, or where your objects are in the layer ordering. So we've added that. Let's add a light source. Awesome. Hello, Anthony. I'm glad you are here. Awesome. Yeah, let's add a light source here. There we go. Okay. All right, this looks good. We got a chest. And I'm just going to quickly fix the shadows of this just a little bit. Let me make sure all of them are selected. No, not that. Select these. And we got the object shadow. I'm going to move it a little bit this way. Increase the brightness. Let's go to 0 here. You have to sometimes do a lot of work. So let's just check. That works fine. This shadow needs to go up a little bit. Ooh, don't want to take too long. All right, thanks for the patience. There we go. Okay, just so there's some shadows there. All right, yeah, just a very basic stuff. I'm going to add in a table and maybe a chair. Maybe the guards want a place to sit while guarding. So I'll put in just a small table here and then maybe a couple stools for the guards. So let's put in some stools. These guards are highly underpaid and have terrible working conditions. I'm just sorry to say. Why am I in all caps? That's just naughty. Okay, let's just add that on there. And let's put the table up a layer. There we go. And we'll put in 2. And always, whenever I like to add multiple stools or tables, I like to rotate them to make sure the grain of the wood is not the same, because it looks weird if you've got 2 stamps like this that are exactly the same direction. Rotate them just a little bit to change the direction of the grain. That way it's not looking too symmetrical. That doesn't look realistic when you do it that way. So now you have a section for guards to post themselves and some items running around, and we'll even maybe throw on a note or something. So I'll just throw in note and put it here. And that will be a clue. All right. And that base floor texture is stone, and the rest of the floors are wood, okay? I think this looks good so far. I'm going to add in something to give it, like there's maybe some dirt from people bringing in dirt. So I always like to use this texture called dry grass. It's in the orc pack. And I'm going to go to the advanced settings, just change the size just a little bit. And I like to use this as like a kind of dirt, or showing the, what I call the flow of traffic. So I'm going to go ahead first, select FG, because this right here is a clipping mask. I'm just going to put here like this, and maybe have it go in a circle, maybe underneath here a little bit, and then going up to here. And I'll also switch over to the BG and have some out here too. Just a little bit, and then we'll go out this way. Okay, so you have a little bit of dirt. That shows the flow of traffic. I'm going to save, and we're going to move on to the next section, okay? How long have we been going? 15 minutes? We can get this done. Favoriting a shadow option. I love that idea. That's a great idea. Okay, we're going to save. We're going to move on to the second floor. So just to recap on first floor while saving, not much combat going on the ground floor, because you just had combat maybe outside from the guards, or maybe they're inside and they come outside. Whichever way, make your combat interesting. Let's switch over to that first floor, which is right above that ground floor. And maybe we want to include some kind of combat. Maybe this is the floor where the guards sleep. So let's maybe add in some beds, because if they're guards, they're probably going to be living in the same building, the same tower that they're guarding. So we'll throw in some single beds here. Just throw in bed and we'll see the best option. I said these guys were highly underpaid and not very well taken care of, so maybe we'll throw in just some bedrolls. And I'm going to want to, I've already placed some stamps here, so I want to use the stamps already placed as scale. So if this person, let's see here, about this big, I want to check how big the seat is. This could be just slightly smaller. Let's go with 55. I think that should be good. I'm placing it up against the table where the paper is, up against here, just as a reference to make sure that my scale isn't ridiculous. This is about enough room for about one person to go through. The tower is not massive. So we'll put 2, we'll go ahead and put this up to like a 4, and I'm going to maybe put like a dirty rug, but this is where our, let's say where our guards sleep. It's not the best conditions. What can you do, right? Okay, so you got some bed space here that we want to put in. And this also makes combat interesting as well. Like, let's say that you catch them at a certain time. You come in at night, you found a way to break in quietly, lockpick, and you want to sneak up and be evil and dastardly and kill them in their sleep. Because that's just so, but that's not as fun. But hey, it makes you be evil and it's fun, right? And let's also maybe add in some stuff up here, like maybe this is where they also eat. So maybe you want to add in a small kind of rickety table to where they're eating. So we want to put like maybe, that looks a little too small for 2 people. Let's find a small table, this one right here. And let me make sure that I used the table down here as a reference. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to click it. There we go. Now I have it. And I'm going to put it somewhere right here, should be good. And I'll make sure to put some stools in here as well. Let's take it down a layer. Again, don't forget to change that wood grain. Let's put one here. And then we can put like a backpack and some other items, maybe a knife. So we'll try bag or backpack. There's one right here. That's nice. We'll put it right here. Let's just see how big it is in comparison to our person. That looks fine. Let's put a bag there on top, and as well as like a dagger. So a knife. Oh, let's go with weapon. I think it's under that. Weapon, let me check. I think it is. Yeah, there it is, dagger. So we'll throw a dagger on there. Assassination plans, Mati? Yeah, a little bit. What can I say? And then let's also add a rug in there too. And I think I'm going to add like kind of a dilapidated kind of rug or kind of a dirty one. And I'm going to make it not circular because the tower is already circular. So maybe I'll just make it kind of tattered. And I'm thinking about my color scheme. I already have a lot of green. So maybe I want to find a color that would go well with that. Let me try blue first. I don't know if blue would work good. Let's maybe... Blue and purple work pretty good. Why don't we, or green and purple. So let's change the hue and maybe go with like a purple color and make sure that it's a layer below everything, not layer 5. Don't listen to me. Oopsie. And make sure it's above too. There we go. So we'll do this and maybe put it here. And I realize that the rugs is above the stool. That's not going to work, is it? That's not going to work, right? Okay, let's do this to bring it up more layers. There we go. Okay. So you got a stool there. And I'm leaving things so there's room for combat. So if you want to come up and slice their throats in the middle of the night, you totally can. You know, there's some space. If you wake them up, maybe you make a noise. Maybe there's a creaky floorboard that wakes them up and then you're forced into combat. But at least you have advantage, right? At least you have advantage. Okay, and then I think also we'll do that same thing by adding just a little bit of dirt. So make sure to switch over to FG. That's 1 and 2 keys if you don't know. And just go ahead and place a little bit of dirt in here. There we go, that's nice. And of course, we should probably add a light source. So I'm going to add a candle real quick. Just type it in, make sure it's a lit one. Cansley. I don't know what a cansley is, but it's not what we're looking for. Okay, let's add in a candle, and let's add in that light source. Oops, let's go with a big one because it kind of makes decent light. Let's go with that, there we go, okay. And I'm just gonna do just these shadows for now. So we'll go to 0. I kind of wish it was different, but okay. Let's go a little bit here, go up. So there's a little bit of shadow there, and then this one needs to be going the other way. So we'll drop the blur down and drop the size down. And with small objects, shadows get decoupled from the object. So you'll have to be very careful about that. So maybe increase the blur or whatever you need to do. Let's go with, I think it has to go down a little bit more and a little bit more this way. There we go. That will do. Okay, just so there's some shadow work. And these ones as well I'm going to fix just real quick. Okay, and then we can add some shadows here as well. Okay, and there we go. Okay. Oops, that's not really right. Let's move it over a little bit to the side and down. Okay. I think that looks okay. I think that's all right. It's kind of clear what the room is. It's kind of a guard room. The next step will go up, and then we can add a different thing, maybe a puzzle, traps, anything like that. So I'm just going to quickly save this, and we can add more details to it later. Let's just keep going. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask Philip, Cheryl, or Becca. Well, sorry, that would be the musical rogue. Okay, 1 second while we save. We're going to move on to that second floor, and I think that second floor is probably going to be like maybe some kind of puzzle that you have to solve or something, and that can be really fun to do. So why don't I first just find a pillar, and I'm going to create some kind of puzzle where there's like maybe time involved. And just a kind of a pro tip about your puzzles, just make sure that you kind of think in advance what it is that you want for your puzzle. And so I'll go through that in just a second. I also want to fix this stamp right here. Move this down just a little bit. There we go. Make sure it's lined up with this one. I know it's not lined up very good, so we'll move it. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to put also, I think, bring this down a layer. There we go. And I'm going to put some kind of hourglass or scale or something like that right here, and say it's some kind of time puzzle. I'm going to put it on top of that because it's a pedestal that's on top of that, and I'll rotate it like this. And then we can put some stuff on the wall to show that, hey, you have to do something. So maybe I'll put a series of small tables and some scrolls on them, and then maybe we can include a puzzle that way. So we'll just use a really small table and then just put scrolls on top of them. And I think I'll put them like this. So there's not much combat going on here unless the guards like followed you up. And we'll just say that there's 3 scrolls here. I'm going to quickly put a scroll down. Okay, and there's different kinds, so we'll say different kinds of scrolls. Let's go up a layer. Okay, so let's add 1 scroll there. Let's add another scroll here. We'll make it different. And then we'll add 1 more scroll right here. Okay, or one that's already open, just as maybe a clue of some kind. So now you have this room where you have to solve this puzzle, and you can even create like a door or a gate. So this right here is stairs going up. So let's say that you want to block it off. So you could put, I think bars, let me check. There might be jail bars right here, prison bar right here. And you can put it just right there like this. And we'll just say that that is locked. And the only way to unlock that is to somehow solve this puzzle here. And so there's a scale and there's some scrolls here. And so we might want to say something like, you have to read the scrolls, say a series of passages, or read inscription on the globe, or rotate the globe. So whatever it is you want to come up with, maybe we want to put something underneath it. So let's put calendar maybe. I think there's some kind of, it's under the wizard pack, or maybe a summoning circle might work. You can also use summoning circles. Let's just try using one real quick. I'm going to make sure to put it a layer. Oop, it doesn't work. Actually, it's okay. I don't think I need to do that. But I do want to add in, again, some of the foot traffic. Like this, going around. Right there, here. Okay. Just like that. And we probably want to add in a light source, or maybe the maybe this thing gives off its own light source, and we can make it a different color just for fun. So I'll put a light source on top of it, and then maybe we should change the hue of it and change the color to something different. Let's go through. Maybe a red color would be more scary. Like there's something going on with this hourglass. And so always changing the light source color can really create an ambiance and change it. And that's super duper nice. Hello, Nimrod. Welcome. Okay. I think that's it. Just that next level is a puzzle. There's a gate there. You have to solve the puzzle to move on to the next floor. Let me just save real quick, and we'll move on to the 3rd floor. And the 3rd floor can maybe be like a skill challenge where you're dodging traps, blades, swinging scythes, all that kind of fun stuff. So it just changes it up. Or if you want, you can make it another combat situation. Maybe that floor has like maybe a crypt in it or whatever. There's so many different options. We haven't had combat. We did this thing, so maybe you want to do combat next or skill challenges. Depends as you as a DM. I'm going to add in traps because we've touched combat. We've touched a trap, and then we're going to, or not trap, but a puzzle. And then traps will be our 3rd floor, and that top floor is going to be basically the boss fight, okay, where our boss is. It could be a wizard, it could be whatever you want. It's trope as AF as to make it with a wizard, but I like, some tropes are really good. Some tropes are really good, and I think with a wizard that's good, so this is going to be a wizard's tower. Let's go ahead and throw in some traps, okay, and then again, we also want to maybe put in iron bars, and maybe the trap is to get to something and then to go to a switch to unlock that. So the way I would go about this is we want to create, we want to limit the player's movement, your player's movements. If it's kind of open, then they can just run around. So instead, we want to create some blocks for our players so that they have to go in a certain direction. So maybe there's timing in a trap or something like that. So we're going to want to create maybe some interior walls, maybe, to force our players to move. So maybe I'll just try this real quick. Maybe you're forcing a player to go into a series of traps. So let's just add this real quick first and we'll move on. And we'll create maybe a series of places that the things where players will have to move around. So let me just think here. So they walk in here. This is locked. There's some room. They have to walk in, go into here. Let's do this. Let's put this together. And I'm going to put shadows too, because right now you can't really see much. So we'll make it kind of windy so that the players have to kind of walk through, around through here and in here to get to the switch. But we'll put a series of traps, whether it's on the wall or the floor. And I'm going to go ahead and select all of these real quick. And we're going to go with Object Shadow for now, because layer doesn't work. There's a clipping mask below it. So we'll go to Object. And I'm also going to drop it down, the blur size, and increase. So you have some nice dark edges along here. So it shows that there's some kind of shadow there. That can just be the ambient occlusion. I definitely recommend you go with a larger shadow, because the way that, if you want to show that a wall is taller, you're going to add more shadow at the base of it. So I'm going to set to FG layer, and I'm going to make sure that I add in just a little bit of dark along here like this. And what that's going to do is kind of make it look like the towers or these walls are a little bit taller, okay? Now I'm also going to, this section right here is going to be the section where players are going to be able to release the trap or to turn off all the traps. So this lever is going to open up that gate and turn off all the traps, so that going back, you don't have to go through that whole dodge game again. So it's kind of nice to do that. Let's just keep adding in a little bit more to it. And I might want to shrink this down just in case. And let's actually copy and paste instead of adding a new one. So that way I'm getting the same object. Effects, copy, paste. And I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit so that there's room for players to walk. So let me show you the flow of traffic, what I had in mind. They kind of go up into here. There's a series of traps. They have to get through here into here, and right here is where that lever is going to be. And you're going to use that lever to turn off the traps and open up the gate. So that's what I had in mind. What are we at here? 31 minutes. We can get this done. We're almost on the last one. So let's go ahead and put a little spot where a lever can go. So I'll put this piece of wood right here. I'm going to change it to Object. Make sure I get my shadows here. So it looks like at least it's going up a little bit. It's not completely flat with the floor. And then add a lever in there. So just type in lever. And there's a couple of them. Let's just go with this nice simple one right here. And I'm going to put it right here. And all you have to do is just click that lever and then whoop, go out. So let's now add in some traps. And I think we can just type in trap. Let me find out. Yeah, there are some traps here. These ones aren't fantastic. I don't know if I would even use some of these. Let me see. There is a trap door. Maybe you could say that there's a trap door. Let's go with something else. First, let's add in some spikes. Spikes are kind of classic, and the spikes, maybe they go in and out of the wall. So let's say that they go in, then they go out. They go in, then they go out. So you can turn that off, and that's up to you as a DM how you want that to go about. So let's just put some spikes there. So right away, they're blocked, and they have to move. And so these spikes go in and out of the wall. So that's kind of one way you could go about it. And then you can add spikes in tight situations, tight spots as well, to kind of make it kind of more scarier. So you can add in some spikes along the walls here. And what's great about traps is, in a combat situation, also, even though you don't have to add a combat situation in here, but you can push enemy combatants into the traps themselves and let the traps do the work for you, while also trying to evade those same traps. Are you a sound designer? No, I might not be a sound designer. What do you mean by sound? You mean, am I sound of mind, or am I in charge of the sound? I don't know. Okay, let's keep adding in some traps, okay? All right. I think I saw some fun stuff floating around. There are some bear traps, so let's maybe Just throw in like a random bear trap. Maybe you get pushed into this corner right here. Boom! And you get hit with that. Okay. All right. We'll add one trap there. Let's keep looking. I think I saw some other things that might work for traps. Let me just go straight into the dungeon pack just right away. And there should be some stuff in here that I should be able to find for traps. Let me see here. No. Oh, there we go. Traps. There we go. Let's try that one. Okay, here we go. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, I see some blades here. Some of these things floating around. But the problem is you wouldn't just have a random blade sticking out of the floor, right? That would be really kind of weird. So you'd have to also make the track that it's going to go on. So let's maybe just use like a concrete wall and just pretend that... Oopsie, I forgot. I have to select everything first if I want that to work. Let's just say that I want to make some tracks. So the way that I would make the tracks is like this. So let's just have a couple tracks right here. And then we'll bring this blade down. And these just travel along the track. Copy, paste. And if you feel like that's not enough, you want to add more to it. Like you want to show the actual track. Path tool. Segments. Turn the shadow off. Make it set to black. Okay, and we're going to do 2 points. Start here. And then go up to here. And we're probably going to also change the size of the width. And we're going to bring it up a layer as well. So let's also change the width. There we go. And then we're going to copy, paste, put that on like that. So now you have your tracks with the blades going back and forth. So now you're trying to avoid those traps. Then you're trying to avoid this trap. Okay, I think this is doing good so far. Let's keep checking out what other options we have. Let me delete this search field. We're almost to the last one. Yeah, sound effects. That's what I do. That sounded more like cocking a gun and then hawking a loogie, but that doesn't work. Okay, let's quickly just add in kind of that, maybe a last trap, or maybe that's enough traps as it is. So let's maybe add in some blood, maybe, because wherever there is traps, there must be blood, right? Yeah, let's just add in some blood. And I would definitely change that blend mode so that it blends in better. And I am going to go with overlay and maybe drop the opacity just a bit. There we go. Let's go with that. And then I'll add in another one as well. Let's see here. Let's also put some blood here. And I also want to put them on top. Make sure that they're on top of the spikes too. That one won't work. Let's try this one. Let's go with that. Yeah, there we go. And the blood is on the spike as well. Sweet. And you can probably add in maybe like, I don't know, some corpse or something to show that people have died here. Maybe a corpse is in the way. So throw in like a corpse or a skeleton. Just type in corpse. There we go. This guy just did, you know, not the lucky day, I guess. And this is a great way to also see how big our characters are as well. How much room there is. Just have this person like standing here being impaled. That's just not the way to go. Like, that's not the way I want to go. You have to like maneuver around it, you know. But if the spikes are going in and out, the body would fall down. Oh shoot. Well, that's not gonna work. Yeah, straight path right into death. Okay, let's add in just some last stuff. I'm just gonna add in one blade that just kind of is hanging out right here. And I think I see a problem there. Let's go like this. There we go. One last kind of trap. This is Death House, man. This is, whoo! This is not happy. This is not the place that you want to be. Yeah, this is not my happy place. This is not where I want to go. You got done solving this puzzle, and now you're being sent into, you know, a room that reeks of coppery blood smell. And you're about to throw up, and there's traps everywhere. I mean, this is not a happy place. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so last floor, and with this one, I'd like to always like make something kind of interesting. And what I want to do is maybe add a balcony that you can push maybe you've, hit it so many times it's staggered, the boss is staggered, and they kind of stagger out to the balcony, and then you just combat kick them right off that, and they just fall to their death off the top floor. That's the way to do it, okay? That's just, if you're going to add a finish to a combat, just make it awesome. Make the combat fun, and just boot that wizard right off that balcony, 4 floors down, boom! I mean, Lord of the Rings style, right? Saruman had to go, right? So that's how we're doing it here, right? Boot kick. So let's create maybe kind of like a balcony. So I'm going to go with stairs first. Where are we at? 39. Ooh, I think I'll be done with this in an hour. Thank goodness. Let's throw in some stairs. I'm going to put it on top like this, and we're going to put like a little balcony maybe over here. Let's put a balcony right here. There we go. So you got the steps. You're going to go up. Now we want to create the balcony. And it doesn't have to be complex. It can be really simple. As simple as just a single spot that just goes out. And maybe you want to add in some railing. Maybe the wizard's gutsy and like, I don't, look at me, ma, no railing. Look at me. So whichever way you want to go about it. Well, yeah, the mage can't fly. So just make sure you throw that out there. Or maybe it makes it interesting. Maybe they do fly and that's annoying and it drives you insane. And you just want to wring the neck out of this mage, right? So then I've added a balcony, and this kind of makes it interesting to combat kick them off. So the combat's going to take place in here. So maybe we want to add in some things that you interact with. Maybe this character summons like minions to help fight on their behalf. So maybe just like this floor right here, we put something in the center, like maybe a globe or some kind of crystal ball, or maybe a portal where this wizard summons creatures to combat you. So there's all different kind of options that you can kind of go with. So let's just say that maybe, I don't know, we'll think about this. What do we want for this wizard? Do we got crystal balls? Tell me we got crystal balls. Okay, there's just so much going on here. Let's add in maybe a table in the center here. Well, there's not much room. We want to make room combat to go around, so we want to have enough room. Let's throw in a table and maybe some fun stuff. So maybe throw in a longer table here like this, and then I'm just going to rotate it just a bit, and maybe we can add some kind of like altar or put a bunch of candles there and a bunch of interesting things. So let's see here. Let's throw in some candles. I'm just going to throw them in like clusters. I love to do that, and just make some small ones too. And then also I like to also add candles where they're not lit as well. So I'll throw in some that are not lit. So we'll throw in a bunch in there as well, like this. I'm gonna make sure it goes smaller as well. There we go. Okay. And then I want to make some room for something in the center. Let's just rotate this just a smidge, make it a bit smaller. There we go. All right, I'm gonna move some stuff over here, and then we're going to put a light source down. We're going to put maybe like some kind of book. Let's just say we got some kind of book going on here. I think I remember seeing, just put a book. Well, let's just go with the more interesting one, actually. Let's go with this one. Okay, we'll throw a book down. There we go, like this. And I'm going to rotate it so it's not perfectly symmetrical with the table. When you kind of rotate things just a couple degrees, it looks really nice, because what you're doing is you're kind of creating use. Like the space is being used all the time. When you're hitting up against the table, you're moving it a little bit. So rotating things just a couple degrees can make a huge difference, because if everything is lined up perfectly and symmetrically, then it looks unnatural, unused, like it's just, like you walked into a house that just got flipped, This wizard didn't just flip their tower, okay? It's going to be messy. It's going to show, that things have been going on. Flip that wizard tower, folks. Flip that wizard tower. Okay, and we want to add in some light sources. Go to that layer 5, right? So add some there, maybe a smaller one right there. And again, you can make it more creepy by changing that color if you want. So if you want, go to filters, and you want to make it kind of like maybe an eerie green. make sure you also select the lit candles as well, and then make sure to try to change them as well to green. Oopsie, let me make sure I fix that. My bad. There we go. We're gonna make it extra creepy. There we go. Go to hue and make sure we got some nice green here. There we go. And I'm gonna add in a large green one as well. Maybe right here, just to kind of give it some eeriness. And that green looks good with that floor texture. Also, I forgot to mention this, but you notice that I changed the floor texture on the top floor because I just wanted to make it look like this floor isn't like the other floors. It's, you know, a boss battle. So it has an interesting floor texture to kind of indicate that just a bit. Flip my map. I would love, yeah, flip this map right now. Oh, that would be fun. I might consider that. Don't tempt me, Jinx. Don't tempt me. Okay. I also want to maybe throw in some like broken pots, like maybe there's some kind of ritual that has to be done and you have to like break some kind of material or something. There's all kinds of things that you can do. I'm also going to change the light source, pick it up a little bit this way. Oopsie, it's a little bit too much. Nothing. There we go. Okay, yeah, we have a broken pot there. And then we'll add another one right, oopsie, without rotating that, please. Another one maybe over here. Okay, so we got some broken pots. And then it might not be a bad idea to add a summoning circle. I don't know, let's try it. Why not, right? Let me just try it. Let me just give it a shot. Maybe it can be done. Let's try it. Let's put it down. Let's cook it down a layer. There we go. And then I think I would also change the blend mode as well. That's like super bright. So maybe we can go with something different. And of course, you could always change the opacity just to bring it down if you want. So there's always that option. Okay, you know, I'm not really a fan of that. Maybe put the circle right here. So maybe your players get trapped and if they fall into this circle, they get a curse or something that has some kind of negative, you know, stat or effect or something like that. So maybe those circles in the summoning circle play some kind of role. And then last but not least, I'm also going to add some fun path ideas. I'm going to just throw one path on without doing that. Yikes. Free draw. Let me just verify that. There we go. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and make some green light tendrils coming out of this. Everyone knows the path tool for me is not really the path tool. It's something else. I don't know. And I also want to change that blend mode as well. So I can go with like light and screen. And then I also let's go back to screen. I kind of like that. And then maybe drop the opacity. I think that will do. Okay. Now I've set that, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of create these snaking kind of tendrils just kind of coming out of the book, showing that there's some ominous activity taking place with this tome. And then also, sometimes I like to make them a little bit smaller, so I have these large, thick tendrils, and then maybe add some thin ones in, just to give it some variety. There we go. Okay, so now you've got that. Sweet. Let's just take a step back. We're going to save. All right. Yeah, I want maps flipped. Let's get on top of that. Oh, you know what? Perfect timing. 47 minutes. Kept this stream nice and short. I'm just going to quickly do a recap. And if you have any questions about how I made parts of the tower, feel free to ask that question. We'll do a quick Q&A as well, because I know that I didn't really make the tower in the stream, but to keep it short, I made those in advance. So this is kind of think of this as the format moving forward in streams. I'm going to make most of the background and walls and stuff, and then we'll do the decorating, and I'll explain how I kind of made those things as well. So again, here we go. First floor, combat situation, boom, guards. Try to catch them on fire, throw them on the sticks and catch them on fire, or you catch them with their pants down in upstairs on the first floor sleeping, or maybe they're just goofing off playing cards. In fact, you could even put playing cards on a table to show that they're goofing off. It's up to you. You don't have to add tons and tons of details. Just add enough to tell what's going on in that room. So, like for this room, chest for victory, for defeating the guards. Maybe the guards are inside. Put some playing cards on the table. That's what you get for goofing off, guards. Caught with your pants down. Naughty. Okay? You move up to the, let's say that you have maybe done the combat. You go up to the next floor. You find the guards room. In that, maybe there's something in the backpack. Maybe there's some food up there. Maybe you can grab that dagger. Maybe you'll need it. Who knows? Go up to the next floor. You're going to solve this puzzle because you notice that the gate is closing the stairwell going up to the 3rd floor. And not that you really want to go up to the 3rd floor. It's a murder hole! It's a murder hole! Okay, so then you're going to solve that puzzle on that 2nd floor, open up that gate, go up to the next floor. Notice that the gate is locked on that 3rd floor. Try to avoid all the traps of death. Traps! Watch out for the traps! Finally, you make it through the traps, you get over it, you pull the switch, insert sound, and the sound effect. Go back, go up because the gate's unlocked. Now you're ready for that final fight. Definitely recommend you take a little rest down on that floor before you decide to go up and have that final combat. You make it to that top floor and you've got some kind of ritual going on. Tendrils, don't get near the book would be my suggestion. Just, stay on the top part, farther up on the map, and just stay away from the book because it's probably not going to be a good read. Not good for you, okay? All right. I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick Q&A just for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. Feel free to go ahead and just ask in the comments below. Please don't forget to check out that poll that I posted. And please let us know what kind of time lapses you want to see. If there's nothing on the poll that you like, feel free to add in the comments on the poll what kind of time lapses you would want to see, okay? And then also don't forget, very soon here, we're going to be switching over to Twitch to do the live streams. But don't you worry, we're not abandoning YouTube. We're just going to do the streams on Twitch and then record them and then move them over to YouTube, okay? So I'm really excited about moving over to Twitch. It's a much better platform for streaming. That's super exciting, and I can't wait for that. And I will make sure that this map is made clonable so that you can go in and go ahead and just totally change this and just edit it to whatever you want, okay? So I hope that was useful. I'm going to quickly check chat and see if there's any questions. And I'm not seeing any at the moment. And I will be looking into that flip my map concept because that sounds kind of fun. All right, well, I'm just going to wait a few seconds, check the chat for any questions. It doesn't look like there's any yet. I know there's a delay, so I'll be patient and wait. I think I saved all the changes. Oh, you know what I didn't mention is filters, and we can just throw in a filter real quick. And I love throwing in filters, and there's a couple that I really like. One of the immediate go-tos is clarity. Clarity is going to make things pop. Watch what happens when I turn off clarity. You'll see that things are a little bit brighter. And then I also like to use cold warm because cold warm kind of brings colors together a little bit. So you have this nice cold warm. And I'm just going to go ahead and bump it up a little bit more. There we go. That nice. There's a lot of greens in here, so purple goes really well. Green and purple are complementary colors, so I'm going to use cold warm to make those complementary colors show up, pop right on the map. Because you've got all the green from this first floor, or that ground floor with the shrubbery, and you've got, catch me a shrubbery. And then you've got the green from the bags, or from the sleeping bags, and you have the green from the top floor. So that cold warm works really well. Look up complementary colors. Believe me, this will help you in the future. All right. Oh, does Inkarnate plan to do SF assets? No comment at this time, but you may translate my comment as you wish. I love being evil. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call it good unless there's any other questions. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay. All right. Hey, thank you, everybody, so much. Again, I'll go ahead and put this on my profile page so that you can clone and edit it. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed showing you how to do this, and I look forward to next week's stream on the 28th, Monday, on how to create modular houses with the watercolor battle map style. Woot woot! All right, over and out, crew. Merry map making, y'all.